I say if you have something to be happy about, I'm gonna be miserable about it and I'm gonna question every little single thing. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 7 of The Real Housewives with Boyfriends Who Have Sketchy Past of New Jersey. So we start the episode off right where we left off with Bill storming away from the dinner table after all the men jumped on him and told him that he basically has to tell his wife Jennifer that she's garbage and keep her mouth closed. Now I can see where Evan's anger is coming from because Jennifer was trying to be nosy by looking up dirt on Evan to see if he was possibly cheating on Jackie. Even if it was just a phone call, you were still trying to mess up their marriage. What I don't understand though is why Evan is so bent on trying to hold Bill to the fire for his wife's action, but he doesn't do the same thing for Marge's husband, Joe, and tell him like, oh, Joe, maybe you should tell Marge to like cut it back a little bit. You know, like look what she did to Bill and Jennifer's marriage is just by bringing up his affair that he tried to keep a secret for 10 years. Like, look what she's doing. You don't say the same thing to him, right? So I'm not understanding this bro code that you have between each other if you're trying to keep everything civilized between the men. Don't just do it, Evan, when it's convenient for you and when the fingers are being pointed at you. Do it for every other man on the show. Josephine tells Francine, are you gonna go get Bill? Go get Bill. He's our friend, kind of. Go get Bill. Go get him. So Francine, he gets up, he goes outside to go get Bill. And I'm not sure what Bill was doing outside in the bushes. I don't know what kind of hide and go seek game he was playing with the valet, but he's in the bushes. So Frank, he comes out and he's like, Bill, you could come out of the bushes. So Bill, he comes out. Frank is trying to convince him to go back inside to the dinner table. And he's just like, come on, Bill, go inside. Andy, he emailed us earlier today and we had a whole script planned out. As soon as Evan said bye, you were supposed to throw a drink in his face. Now walk away and go home. Like, that's not part of the script. We still have 2 more hours of filming here. What are you doing? So Bill is just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to follow that script. I'm going home. I'm not going to be trashing my wife. And like I said last week, I'm not sure what the men expected of Bill to just be like, oh yeah, I completely agree. My wife is a terrible person. I'm not sure what kind of person you think that he's married to. Like he's not about to just agree with a bunch of men. Even if he is friends with you, he's not going home to any of you. Allegedly, he's going home to Jennifer and she's already pissed at him, so he doesn't want to add more salt to the wound. So Bill, he's just like, no, Frank, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm gonna go home anyway. I have a feeling that, you know, this whole situation was just a stunt so Bill could just show off his cars to the camera. Because he got into the red car, which was parked conveniently right in front of the cameras. And as he's in the car, this is probably how the scene probably played out. He got in the car and he was just like, okay, does everybody got the camera on my car? Make sure my license plate isn't in the camera or anywhere in the footage. Okay, are you ready? I'm about to storm off really, really mad. Just make sure that you're like, you got my profile. Okay, are you ready? I'm gonna storm off quickly. Make sure you get the rims too. Okay, here it goes. Like, and then he probably got the bad footage and he probably made them do it all over again. He was just like, wait. No, you guys need a second shot just in case it doesn't make it to the editing room? Okay, hold on. Let me back up. Hold on, let me back up. My red car is going to be seen by the audience. And then he probably redid the whole entire thing again. And he stormed off and he left like Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious. And speaking of Louis, you know production was just like, okay, Louis, you could come out of the bathroom now. I think Bill is gone. Okay, go into the scene. Quickly. We got 2 more hours of footage. But Louis, he comes out of nowhere like a red tomato again. He sits down. Tiki, like, let me clear this up too because I don't want to make it seem like I want Tiki and Tracy off the show. It's just that both of them, especially Tracy, like they're coming onto the show so strong as if they've been with the group for 10, 20 years, you know? And I think that the best way I could describe it is Escala from Potomac. She was the new friend of the show this past season. And yeah, she came off like a tryhard as well, similar to Tracy, but not as strong. It kind of felt a little bit more organic, just a little bit more organic. And she had beauty and looks to give us. Even if she was just in the background not saying too much, we could still acknowledge that she was a beautiful woman and she wore really nice clothes. Tracy, she doesn't really give us nice clothes, so I mean, she's just there, you know? And then when she does try to insert herself in drama, it's just like, oh, can you stop? Like, you're really doing too much. At least try to ease into it at like a 2 and then maybe a 5 and then slowly progress to a 10. But Tracy and Tiki are just jumping into it like head first. But then again, I don't know. Maybe that's what the friend of the shows have to do, because look at Kathy Hilton. She was also the new friend of the show this past season on Beverly Hills, and she came off organic as well. But then again, she was sisters with one of the wives already, with Kyle. So, but either way, she still gave us her moments, and she didn't feel like a tryhard. Well, kinda, yeah, she did. So her and Escala did feel like tryhards here and there, but not to the level of Tracy and Tiki, because both of them, they're really coming off like very, desperate and thirsty. But Tiki, he's just like, well, I mean, Louis, we want to question you on a couple of things that, we've been hearing around on the internet or whatever. And then Louis is just like, wait, what's going on? And then Tiki's just like, we heard a lot of, abuse allegations. And I'm just like, Tiki, with the allegations that you and your wife are facing on how both of you met, you would think that you would just keep quiet. But all right, I guess we're all pointing fingers at Louis. If I was Louis, I would have looked at Tiki like, oh, okay, since you want to ask me that, I want to ask you something after I answer this question right now for you. I just want to know how you and your wife got together. Just to be petty, because you're not going to be pointing your finger at me as if I'm the bad person and you're like an angel. That's not happening. What's so crazy that all the men think that they're so squeaky clean when they're all cheaters. Like, all of you are trash. Well, Evan, I don't know about you yet. You're still here you're like somewhere in the middle. We don't know yet, but let's just say you were an alleged cheater, right? You also are a cheater just like all the other men. So I'm not sure why we're trying to look down at Louis for his creepy ass video or these allegations. I mean, these allegations are very serious, so I'm not sure if they're true or not. But if they are true, then you're also trash, just like the rest of the men here at the table, which I'm not understanding why any of them think that they're better than each other to be pointing fingers at each other like, oh, you did this. Is it true you did this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Oh, I can't believe that you did this. When all of you are in the same pile. But Louis, he lets us know that no, this was just a thirsty ex who just put that rumor out there to try to throw dirt on my name. It's not true. And by the way, this toxic ex that I used to be with, before I got with her, I also found out that she stabbed her ex-husband in the chest with a knife. And I'm just like, well, damn, Louis, like that's very concerning. I mean, where's the update on that woman? Like, where is she at? Because that's pretty scary. I mean, I don't know. But Louis, he's just like, I didn't know any better. I still stayed with her. After that, I stayed single ever since. And I believe he was 36 when that happened. So he was single for 10 years. And then he met Teresa when he was 46. And he said that his whole life changed when he met Teresa. Now he's so badly in love with her and everything is fine now. I guess maybe all you do need is that one person in life to change your whole perspective on everything and to make everything better in life. And then Josephine, he was kind of making threats at Louis like, oh yeah, I mean, Louis, if I do find out that you do have a shady past or anything, I'm not gonna like this between you and my sister. And I'm just like, Josephine, who is scared of you? Like, are you supposed to scare her? Ooh, I'm scared. Like, no, that's not supposed to be scary. If I was Louis, I would have just fluffed you like, boop. Like, you're not scaring nobody. The next morning, all the men are waking up with a hangover from the drinking from the night before, and they're all talking to their wives in their own homes. And we start off with Goldilocks, Margaret. She comes into the room, and Joe, he's knocked out, he's barely awake, and not even 2 seconds, and she's going in there, and she's just like, good morning, Joe. Good morning, baby. How are you? I got some coffee for you. So tell me what happened with Louis. Like, can you relax, lady? Like, I get it. We're on a reality TV show. We need to keep things going. But damn, can you just let the man wake up first? He hasn't even brushed his teeth yet. Can you give him an Advil for a headache or whatever for his hangover? No, she wants to know about Louis and the drama between that and his allegations and everything that's going on with him and Teresa. Like, give it a break. Joe, he's barely responding. He's just like, yeah, we talked to Louis, something about a stabbing, I don't know, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, something about stabbing into the chest or whatever. And Margaret, she's like, maybe Louis just trying to deflect everything, all these allegations coming in his way to somebody else in order to make himself look like the victim. And honestly, I can see that too. That's also another possibility here. Louis could be like, they're on to me. They're going to expose me or whatever. Let me try to throw dirt on somebody else in order to make myself look like the victim and have pity and have people feel sorry for me. I can also see that perspective as well. Then we see Evan, he just got finished working out. Jackie's asking him like, what happened? What's going on? Jackie does make a good point by saying that she doesn't want to discredit the victim's accusation towards Louis and this alleged abuse just because he said, oh, she was thirsty for attention. She just wanted to throw dirt on my name, because we don't know that for a fact. We don't know if Louis in fact did not do these actions that the woman is claiming that he did in front of the children. It's kind of like a 50-50 toss-up. We don't really know. I don't even know if there's a way that we can really put it out there that if it's true or if it's false. We don't know unless there's documents in the court system. I'm not sure. Over at Teresa's house, Louis is telling Teresa that Tiki actually questioned him about these allegations, and Teresa, she was kind of caught off guard and she was just like, wait, what? Tiki is inserting himself into something that he doesn't know about, just like his wife was doing about my family, and now she's coming for my relationship? Absolutely not. And I saw this coming from a mile away, because Tracy, again, she was kind of clawing at Teresa a little bit when she has no background or no history with Teresa to be having any type of say-so, just like Doja Cat, in this conversation or in this argument, let alone her husband. Again, as soon as Teresa, because I'm not sure if Teresa knows about how they allegedly got together, I'm pretty sure she's gonna throw that in their faces because, again, Tracy, you're just meddling with the wrong person. You know, you are not Scooby-Doo, you are not Scrappy-Doo. Stay out of it. We head over to Jennifer's house, and she's in the backyard with her daughter Olivia and her husband Bill, and they sit down to have a conversation, and Bill is telling Jennifer, and he's filling her in on everything that happened the night before when all the guys went out to drink, and he's just like, I'm not about to be loyal to all these men just because of this bro code thing. I'm not about to trash my wife, as he shouldn't, because again, just because 6 men are telling you you need to crucify your wife does not mean that you have to do it or you should do it. And Jennifer's just like, I appreciate that. I appreciate you sticking up for me when I'm not there. But, you know, honestly, Bill, I need you to stick up for me when we're together facing something together head on. And I mean, I understand what Jennifer's saying. And I got what Bill was also saying when Bill was just like, well, you know, some people are not like that. I have a different personality. And Bill, he gives me the vibe where, okay, if there's too much confrontation going on or if there's a lot of fire in between somebody in front of him, he's going to kind of step away from it, as opposed to Jennifer. She's going to go head on into it. She's not scared of anything. She could go into confrontation ready to throw a fist. Jennifer, you also have to be flexible as well. You can't just expect your husband to just jump in and start swinging on Joe like that, even though that's what we all want. You can't expect that. Both of you have to have some type of compromise. Like, okay, Bill, you don't have to bring out a giant sword or a giant hammer or anything to fight my battles, but I want you to hold my hand. Not hold my hand, but be right next to me just in case. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like this is what needs to happen. Joe and Melissa need to be in one corner of a boxing ring. And then we have Jennifer and Bill on one other side. And we need to have both of them just fight it out for the WWE tag team titles. And see who's the best couple of New Jersey and just call it a day. That's really all it takes. But Bill, again, you do have to be there for Jennifer, especially if you see her, how she's going through all these emotions about the affair that happened 10 years ago. So obviously you have to make up for it. Yes, it happened a long time ago, but it's still effective now. So you should at least give her some type of, not loyalty, but have her back in situations like this in order to make up for something that you did 10 years ago. I know it's not going to make up completely, but it's a step. We also see Dolores at her house talking to her children, which, by the way, Frank Jr., you sounded so ungrateful when Dolores was just like, oh, I'm so glad that your house is finally done. Both of you are finally going to be able to move in. And then Frank Jr. was just like, yeah, it'll be nice to have some furniture inside it. And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, so disrespectful. If I was Dolores, I would have been like, you know what, get the fuck out of my house now. Like, so rude, but okay, I mean, whatever. That's your dynamic in your household. But Dolores, she's letting them know that her mom is still in the hospital from the situation last week. She needs to go through the bypass surgery, and they're just trying to calm her down because we see that Dolores, she's a little nervous right now. She's like, you know, I've always had my mom to call, you know, just in case of any situation. I've always had her there just to give me advice, and hopefully her mom does pull through. I'm not really sure her situation right now after they're done filming, because obviously this was filmed like a year ago, so I'm not sure her situation now. Hopefully she is better, but according to Dolores, she says that David has been checking up on the mom and been going to the hospital to check up on her, but she has had no contact with Dolores. I'm like, David, what did Dolores do to you? I mean, am I missing something or am I forgetting something? Why is David treating her like this? Like, he is not talking to her whatsoever. He's giving her the cold shoulder. Like, he doesn't want nothing to do with Dolores. I'm just so confused where that's coming from. I thought both of you were together, and now all of a sudden he's just like, nope, I don't want anything to do with her. I mean, maybe this is his way of just kind of like letting her go permanently so he doesn't fall back into the same cycle. Margaret also calls Dolores to get an update on her mom's status, and Dolores, she lets us also know that her mom is doing good. Her mom is relaxing in the chair. Frank Jr., her son, is massaging her feet. Everything is fine. So Margaret's just like, you know what? I think you deserve a spa day. Why don't we all have a spa day? I'm going to invite everybody minus Jennifer because I don't feel like this is the right time or the right event to have a one-on-one sit down with her. I think we're going to have to wait like maybe next week or in 2 weeks, 2 more episodes for the audience to see it because we need to extend this season as long as possible. So let's hold out on that and let's just have a pointless scene at the sauna between all of us. So I'm going to invite everybody, okay? So Dolores is just like, you know what? I really appreciate that. I appreciate having friends like you. And I'm just like, Dolores, just wait till some dirt piles up on you and Margaret goes to digging with her shovel. You're not going to be saying the same thing as you're saying now. But meanwhile, over at Teresa's house, she's getting ready in front of her vanity and her 2 daughters. And she's telling them, oh, have you checked Instagram? Have you checked TikTok? Have you checked Twitter? Did you check your emails? And they're like, no, we haven't. What happened? And Teresa's like, well, today is the 1-year anniversary of when me and Louis met and we're going out to celebrate. And Gia's just like, well, you know what, Mom? I think he's actually a great guy. I did have my second guesses about him at first because I don't know, it seemed a little fishy, but I think he's a good guy for you. And Teresa's just like, you know what? I could understand what you're going through, Gia, with your thoughts about that, because, you know, he did have previous relationships and they were a little bit fishy. You know, he does have a past, but so do I. I have a past too. I went to jail. He could have easily judged me for that. But Gia was just like, but mom, the only difference is that you don't look like a psychopath. And I'm like, wait a minute, Gia. So you agree he does look like a psychopath? Like, we're all on the same boat here, right? Like, we all see what we're seeing, except Teresa. She's the only one who's not seeing what everybody else sees. But you know, honestly, I really hope that Louis and Teresa's relationship is sincere and real, and Louis doesn't become somebody else later on down the line, because look how happy Teresa is with him. I mean, she was crying over him. That's how happy she is. She was like, oh, you know, I prayed to my parents to bring somebody into my life that I can love and build with. In the same week, I met Louis. So I really hope it's sincere, because I would hate for everything to fall apart in front of her face after everybody kind of tried to warn her, like, look at all the red flags that you're ignoring because you're still in the puppy love stage. And look, he's just wooing you and wooing you and wooing you, and you're just falling more deeper into this hole with him. So hopefully, Louis, hopefully this is who you really are and your past doesn't come back to bite you in the end. But speaking of, Bravo loves to play that clip of Joe Giudice saying, oh, my bitch wife. Like, I'm assuming that they get paid every single time they play that, because there was no need for us to see that. Again, it's like somewhere in the contract that, oh, Teresa needs to have a scene where Joe Giudice calls her a bitch in the flashback at least once every season. Like, we get it. And I like how she was trying to bait her daughters into saying something nice about Louis. She was just like, he's so nice, right? He's such a great guy, right? He's so amazing, right? And they were just like in silence. So she's just like, you know what, can both of you just help me pick out something to wear for this date night? And honestly, Teresa, if I was you, I would have just wore some pasties on my nipples and some eatable panties and a peacoat and just show up like that. Like, hey, Louis, I'm your snack. And call it a night. We head over to Melissa's house and she's in the kitchen with her sons and her daughter Antonia. Antonia is just sitting there looking pissed at something, and Melissa is trying to get her to open up to her, but Antonia is not having it. Melissa insists. So she's like, so let's talk about your sweet 16. Are you happy about it? What are you wearing? Who's coming? What do you think about the entrance? What do you want to do? And Antonia, again, she's just like, I don't really feel like talking about it. I'm not really happy about it. It is what it is. And come to find out, the reason why she is upset is because Melissa lets us know that she had an injury back in high school, or in high school, where it stopped her from cheering. I believe she tore something in her ACL, ATL, CTL, something down in her foot that stopped her from cheering and doing flips. On top of that, Melissa and Joe also had to move everybody out of their schools and move them into a different school. And Antonia, she was already halfway through high school. And for Melissa and Joe to do that, yeah, that will mess any typical teenager's life up. And you expect her to just leave the friendships and memories that she had established at her old high school just like that and go into her new high school with open arms, like, hey, I'm here to make new friends. I only have 2 more years left in high school, but might as well make the best of it. No, of course, anybody at her age is going to be upset about it. And just like she told you, Melissa, you probably didn't take her feelings into consideration. You should have just waited at least 2 more years, depending where she was in high school, just to let her graduate and let it be done. And like, okay, now we can move or whatever, because now she's not attached to the high school. But now you kind of messed up her entire world. And you would think, Melissa, how important high school is to teenagers at that age, how that is their whole entire world. That is what they breathe and think on a daily basis. You would think that, you know, with your flashback story of how you were treated, that you would want Antonia to have a good experience and not be cut short in the middle of it. Like, oh, you're almost done with high school, but I'm going to snatch it away from you. On top of that, her cheering is also taken away from her. So that's 2 important things that matter to her and to a teenage girl like Antonia at the age that's being taken away from her. And you expect her to just be happy about it? No, the reason why she's bitter is because of all of this. And you should have understood a little bit more, or you should have had a little bit more compassion to her. I mean, you have the money. You and Joe probably have the money to stay at your old house for just a little bit longer. I mean, it wasn't like you were pressed to move. I mean, I'm not sure your financial status, but I don't know, maybe you two could have came to a compromise or something, but it's very unfortunate for Antonia. But Melissa, this is what I really like to see from your family dynamic. I like to see this. This seems very sincere. Yes, it's very disappointing and sad to see the relationship between you and Antonia, but it's nice to see like the realness and the rawness between you and your family instead of these fake storylines between you and Joe. We finally get to Teresa and Louis' date night that she's been hyped about for their 1-year anniversary, and he has a car pick her up and drive her next to this boat where there's a bunch of rose petals leading up to the entrance of the boat where Teresa has to make her way, and Louis is right there at the entrance waiting for her next to this man with a saxophone, which for a second I thought that was Macklemore next to him. I'm like, why are we hiring Macklemore to perform on a saxophone? We got that type of budget, but okay, but no, it's just some random man with a saxophone that was playing music. And they're sitting down at the table. And the reason why the man is playing the saxophone to begin with is because Teresa had told Louis once upon a time ago that she loves playing the saxophone. So Louis remembered, and he was just like, you know what? Why not make it romantic, or why not have somebody play the saxophone just so I could prove that I was listening to her while we were talking? So Teresa, she finds that to be such a sweet gesture, which it is actually, because nowadays these trash ass men don't listen for anything. You tell them, oh, you know what? I like chicken nuggets. What do? They give you fish. So kudos to Louis for listening. Kudos to you, Louis. You get 2 points for that. So eventually they're kind of looking at each other in the eyes, and then Teresa gives him the gift of like a letter and a box. I'm not really sure. Like, it's the little box from Target, and he opens it up, and I'm not really sure what the gift was. Was it a bracelet? Was it jewelry? I'm not sure what it was. Was it a tracker to make sure that he's not cheating, or he's not like anywhere but home? Like, what's going on here? But he opens it up, and he's just looking at it like, oh, an avocado. Thanks. I would have looked at it like, Teresa, you make how much money on this on the Housewives of New Jersey, and you give me this, a little black circle? What is this? No. Put this back in the box and go give me another gift before I throw you off the boat. Like, absolutely not. But then again, I don't know. I like diamonds, so that's just me. But then Teresa's just like, oh, wait, no, read the letter. So Louis, he proceeds to read the letter, but I could barely hear what the fuck the letter was saying because the guy with the saxophone, Macklemore, he was playing it so loudly in my ear. I mean, this is how it played out. Louis, he picked up the letter and he was just like, dear Louis, you have made me so... That is so sweet, Teresa. Like, that's exactly how it played out. I could not hear anything Louis was saying, but I'm assuming that the letter was something cute. So Louis is just like, wait. I want to read my letter to you. Are you ready for this? And Teresa's just like, yeah. So we see Macklemore. He gets this huge, like, scroll or whatever. I'm like, what is this? High school graduation? He had a huge scroll, and I'm like, what's about to happen here? So then he unlists this or whatever. He goes down the list. He's like, Teresa, this is a huge scroll. Mind you, by the way, again, just this is just some dating advice. If your significant other doesn't do the same thing as Louis and take out this huge ass scroll and list the things that he likes about, or he or she or they like about you, then you should leave them ASAP. Leave them as soon as possible. He goes on to list the things that he likes about Teresa, starting with her voice. I'm just like, oh, okay, like he's really in love with her. He's like, I love your voice. I love the way you flipped that table on season 1 of the Housewives and you put the Housewives in New Jersey on the map. I love when you were chasing Danielle all throughout the country club on season 2 of the Housewives. I love when you threw that drink last season and the season before that and the season before that too. And the drink that you're going to throw in a couple of episodes from now to Margaret. I just love everything about you, Teresa. I really, really do enjoy you and I love you so much. And I thought that the whole gesture, the whole scene was cute and adorable. And like I said earlier, I hope that their love and their relationship is sincere. And by the way, I'm not sure if anybody watched What Happens Live, but she confirmed that Melissa is not going to be a bridesmaid, and I believe her wedding is going to be sometime in the summertime. So I wonder if it's going to also be filmed, or she's going to have a special like on Bravo, or she's just going to have like, her own private, intimate wedding with Louis. But again, I wish them the best. All the women minus Jennifer meet up at the spa spot for the spa day that Margaret had planned out for Dolores, and Teresa, she shows up and she's telling everybody about the date that her and Louis just went on and how he brought out the huge scroll listing the things that he likes about her. And here comes Margaret being such a hater in the confessional. She's like, wait, Louis likes her honesty. No, does he also like that she doesn't take accountability for anything? Does he also like that she's also gullible? I'm like, damn, Margaret, like, how miserable are you in the marriage with Joe that you're like talking shit about Teresa like this? Like, can you let the woman be happy for 2 seconds? Like, I know that we need to have a villain on this show, but damn, like, give it a rest for a second. Say something nice. But then Tracy, So Tracy is there, they're gossiping, they're talking. Teresa, she's going to change into her bathrobe. And then Margaret, of course, she's bringing up the whole situation with Louis and what he said to Tiki and to the other husbands about his ex allegedly stabbing her ex-husband in the chest. I cannot believe I'm saying that on camera. Like, I cannot believe I'm describing this on the show. Like, what? Like, this is how insane Housewives has gotten, to the point where now we have allegations of somebody getting stabbed. Like, first we have criminals in Salt Lake City, and now this is just it's just a free for all. But anyway, so Margaret is explaining that she's like, yeah, I don't know, I really don't believe it. Maybe it's just him trying to, cover up his tracks or something. And kudos to Melissa. Melissa, I really liked you in this moment. I think Melissa gets like 5 extra points and a sticker for this episode alone, because I really liked and enjoyed Melissa this episode. She was just like really neutral, because she was like, no, I'm not going to be talking shit about Teresa or Louis or whatever. Me and Joe, we already decided that I'm good. We're not going to continue throwing dirt at her or whatever. Either way, you're still not going to be her bridesmaid. So, I mean, you did it too late now, Melissa. But Melissa, I really like that. She was just like, no, I'm not going to continue gossiping. If Teresa chooses to be with him, it is what it is. And that's the type of attitude that everybody just has to have. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, we could see all the red flags, but if Teresa doesn't see them, it is what it is. And she has to face them alone if there is possible some type of trouble between her and Louis in the future. I just wish that she would have told Margaret to her face and not in the confessional. She just stood quiet. And then Tracy jumps in and she's like, yeah. Speaking of that situation with Jennifer, I just feel like that fucking bitch, that fucking scumbag needs to go and fucking apologize right now to you. Like, she really needs to apologize so fucking hard right now. I cannot believe her. She is the fucking beneath my shoe right now. She is fucking dirt. And I'm just like, Tracy, relax. Why are you so upset? Oof, you so angry. Like, what's going on here? Tracy, come over here. If you're watching here, come over here. Sit down next to me. What's going on, Tracy? What's the problem? Why are you so upset? I mean, are you really trying to secure your meatball for next season that hard? I mean, relax. It's really not that serious. Like, why are you so upset at Jennifer? And then Teresa, she hears that when she comes out. She's like, who needs to apologize? Tracy was just like, oh, fuck, she heard me. Nobody needs to apologize. I said apple juice. I said applesauce. I didn't say apologize. I don't know what you're talking about. She was trembling. But she told Teresa, she was like, well, I just feel like Jennifer needs to apologize. And again, Teresa in her confessional, she was like, I'm so confused why Tracy continues butting herself into my relationship, and then my relationship with my family. And now the relationship between Bill and Jennifer, like, where is this coming from? I think we're all trying to figure out the same thing. Again, it's not that I don't like Tracy or that I want her off the show or whatever, because she could bring something interesting to the show. Not everybody has to be about drama on the show. Let's not get it, wrong with that. I don't want everybody to constantly be fighting on the show. It's just Tracy's coming in at a 10 instead of coming in at like a 5 or a 6 or whatever. It's just like, it's really not that serious. It's really not that deep for you to jump into it like that, Tracy. And Tracy's like, well, I just feel like Jennifer needs to apologize to Margaret because she just does too much or whatever. And I just feel like she's a little bit too cutthroat. And then Margaret's just like, I just feel like Jennifer takes it up too much. And she was just trying to cover up this whole affair. And she never thought that somebody would expose her. Which, by the way, I do want to know, how did Margaret know about this affair? Like, who told her? Because if it was so covered up, I mean, I know she dropped hints about it that she knew before on previous seasons, but who gave her that information? Like, how did she know? If it was covered that deeply for so many years and nobody said anything about it, where did Margaret get this information from? But either way, they sit down by the pool. They want Jennifer to apologize. They're saying that sometimes she goes too overboard. But I'm just like, Margaret, you do too much too. Like, both of you go tit for tat, like I said in the first episode. Both of you are not victims, because Jennifer, she throws a low blow at you and even Melissa. And what do? You throw a low blow back at her. Now it's Jennifer's turn. Jennifer, what she needs to do is get Joe's mistress, his ex-girlfriend, somebody from his past, and bring her to the reunion or to the next season or something, so that way both of you could be even, because it's always going to be like that between both of you. Like, oh, let's see who could hit below the belt even more this round. So, I mean, again, neither one of you are victims. Yeah, Jennifer, it is kind of sad what she's going through, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, Jennifer, because you are no angel. You also have a reckless way of speaking sometimes, but so does Margaret, because that's what both of you do. Both of you could kind of handle each other. It's just this time she kind of took it up a notch with her comeback, and you can't handle it this time. So now you want to cry about it. And Dolores' solution to this whole thing is that somebody needs to eat shit. And I'm just like, now, wait a minute, Dolores. I think the term is called eating ass, not eating shit, but that's just me. We see Jennifer and her brother Steven head into this cafe, and she orders a bacon, egg, and cheese. And it reminded me of when I used to order the same thing on a daily basis, except my order used to be a little bit different. It used to be a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich with french fries, salt, pepper, ketchup, a glazed donut, and a strawberry kiwi. That was delicious. But they sit down to have a conversation. Steven tells Jennifer that he was away in P-Town for the week, celebrating Bear Week over there. And I'm not sure if anybody knows what the word bear means in the LGBTQ plus community, but a bear is another word for a hairy barrier or a bigger man in the LGBTQ community. So at least that's what my knowledge is. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he lets her know that that's where he was. Jennifer then asked him, so what happened to the guy that you met at the Pride Festival? That didn't work out? And he's just like, no, unfortunately, it did not. And as he's talking about the Pride Festival, I'm just having flashbacks to when I first started going to the Pride Festivals, and such a good time. But then Jennifer, she tells Steven that she actually got ahead of the train wreck that was coming in her mom's direction, because she's like, well, I finally told mom about the affair that Bill had behind my back, and she was not happy about it. She actually said that Margaret, she actually is going to get some revenge about this. She is not happy about this, and there's going to be hell to pay. And honestly, I really truly believe that once Jennifer calms down with her emotions and she kind of deals with this whole cheating affair from 10 years ago properly in a better way, I feel like she is going to come for blood when it comes to Margaret. I mean, I know that they may make up sometime next episode or the next episode or the following episode or sometime this season, but I just feel like it's not over from here. I feel like Jennifer is going to want revenge for Margaret, putting her on blast in front of everybody like this, for everybody to see this affair, for her entire family to be affected by it. So I feel like it's nowhere near over with this situation. But she told her mom, just so that way nobody in her life, nobody in her friend circle could be the first one to tell her. She could hear it from the horse's mouth, per se, and hear it from Jennifer first before anybody got ahead of the game. So, I mean, kudos to her, because, again, people could tell the mom, like, oh, yeah, did you hear about the affair? And then next thing you know, it's going to be a game of telephone. You're going to be adding things that are not true, and it's probably going to make it even worse. And then the mom, I believe the mom, she said, oh, yeah, sometimes things like this happens, and it's okay. And I'm just like, it's really not okay. I was with Steven when Steven was just like, it's really not okay, and I hope you're okay with that. And how are you going to move forward from this? Jennifer, she says she does not know. I mean, Jennifer is really questioning her relationship, her whole marriage with Bill. She's just like, I don't know. I mean, I'm questioning everything. Yeah, it was 10 years ago, but now I'm going through all of the emotions that I should have processed back then that I didn't process properly. Now I'm facing them now, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And honestly, I don't know what she should do either. I mean, I don't want to say, oh, it was 10 years ago. That's not valid either. I just feel like her and Bill need to go through counseling. And if she could get through counseling with him properly and actually, put all of this to rest, then maybe they can move forward. But if she can't, and she can't forgive him for something that she did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, then she needs to let him go. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that she should leave him, stay with him for the money? Or eventually go to therapy? What is your solution to the whole situation? And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? Do you believe Louis and these allegations? What do you think about that? Do you think he's a little shady for his past? Do you think he's a good guy? Do you think that him and Teresa are gonna work out? They're gonna make it down the aisle this summer? I'm not sure. What do y'all also think about Jennifer and Bill? Do you think that she should leave him? She should stay? She should kind of just forget about the past, get therapy? What do y'all think? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this whole episode down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all. Mwah.